Tonight, a terrifying incident inside an elementary school bathroom.
The child broke free and ran back to a classroom and reported to a teacher.
Questions swirl after a child is allegedly confronted by a registered sex offender. Also tonight, race to the bottom.
I expect better from all of us.
Insults fly fast and furious at the Manitoba Legislature. What's at stake as decorum goes out the window on Broadway. Plus, the axe comes down. How the city is responding as Hydro steps up tree removal over safety concerns.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
A convicted sex offender is back behind bars tonight following a disturbing incident at a St. Vital elementary school. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Police say a 28-year-old man went into Darwin School, hid in a washroom, and when a student was leaving a stall, grabbed them. It happened yesterday and has left parents on edge. Standing by live with what exactly unfolded is CTV's Harrison Shin. So Harrison, first question is just, how is this child doing tonight?
Marilee, the child fought the man off and ran for help. Darwin School is a kindergarten to grade 8 school, so we're talking about kids between the ages of 5 and 13. While the child didn't require medical attention, as you can imagine, parents, staff, and students have a lot of questions tonight, and the warning, the details of this story are disturbing. St. Vital's Darwin School community is in shock after police say a 28-year-old convicted sex offender, Scott William George, went into the school Thursday and grabbed a child.
The suspect had hid in a washroom stall. This was a children's bathroom, by the way. When a student exited an adjacent stall that they were using, the man grabbed hold of the child.
According to police, the student fought him off and told a teacher.
Scott William George has been charged with the following offenses: assault, forcible confinement, and failed to comply with prohibition order regarding children ×2.
Court records show he pled guilty to sexual interference in 2022. His criminal history goes back to 2015, and he has several failure to comply with conditions charges, and others like unlawful dwelling in a home and weapons violations. The Louis Riel School Division Superintendent Christian Michelik says everyone in the division is shaken by the incident.
A situation that no child or family or staff should ever have to face.
Michelik says officers were able to respond within minutes. He says many of the school's doors are locked, but inevitably doors are open for people finding their way in and out.
The important thing is that not only is it about locking doors, keeping doors locked, but it's also about the vigilance, looking out for each other.
Police say the investigation continues and ask anyone with information to contact the Child Abuse Unit or Crime Stoppers.
Harrison, is there anything else the school division is saying about this tonight?
Marilee, we had lots of questions for the superintendent. Some he wasn't able to answer because of the ongoing investigation, but Michelik did say two things. One, the division has services available to help students and staff, and two, they are reviewing their procedures and practices to prevent this incident happening again. A letter has gone out to parents as well.
All right, thanks for this, Harrison. Manitoba is renewing its call for a national electricity grid, which would move more power between provinces and territories and help the province's exports. Premier Wab Kinew says it's a good time to build domestic energy transmission in an era of economic threats from the United States. A national grid would need federal money, and Manitoba is now signing on to an Ontario-led memorandum calling for the project.
They've got the big checkbook. If we want to build that transmission line to northern Saskatchewan, to northern Alberta, to help decarbonize oil and gas in Canada, this is the time to do it. And it'll help employers like PTI, the workers that you see around us here today. It'll help you with the cost of living, and it'll help Trump-proof our economy.
Manitoba Hydro already exports power to some areas in Ontario, Saskatchewan, and the United States, but the utility has warned it needs new power generation as early as 2029, and the government is looking to set up wind power generation in conjunction with Indigenous-led organizations. Political discourse is often seen as dry and boring. Thursday's question period in the Manitoba Legislature was anything but. Name-calling and personal attacks were flying from both sides of the aisle. CTV's Daniel Halmerson joins us now with more on that. Danny, well, we know things can get heated at times. What happened yesterday was pretty unusual.
It was, Marilee. Question period is a chance to air a free exchange of ideas. But on Thursday, insults like tofu eaters and latte sippers are now officially on the record.
That's right. And you know what a wise man once told me? Don't get in a mud fight with a pig because the pig will love it.
There you have it. Another racist comment by the Premier. The Premier knows I'm Muslim. He knows I won't wrestle with a pig, but I will wrestle with a criminal like him.
No holds barred on Broadway. Premier Wab Kinew, opposition leader Abi Khan, and members of their parties traded barbs Thursday during a very colorful question period in the Manitoba Legislature. Name-calling, insults, and accusations were hurled from both sides of the aisle, including this shot from Kinew accusing the Tories of being fake hunters.
On that side of the house, you got the tofu eaters. You got the salad bar line-uppers. You got the latte sippers.
The back-and-forth badgering and lack of decorum prompted Speaker Tom Lindsay to chastise both parties. He called the question period shameful and embarrassing.
It's time that we showed some respect. If we don't like each other, that's fine. I don't care. But you will respect the positions you have in this place.
Adjunct Professor of Political Science at U of M, Christopher Adams, says verbal sparring during question period is nothing new, but says there's no love lost between these two leaders.
I think right now it's not just a matter of ideology, it's a matter of personalities between the Premier and the leader.
Adams calls the lack of decorum in the Assembly very disconcerting and says this kind of conflict makes bipartisan work nearly impossible. He adds the two leaders and their parties should rethink their tactics.
There's a saying that my parents would say that it's not who started the fight, but who stopped the fight. And I would say that it's up to the leaders to make sure that they don't take the bait and jump into each other's fighting moods.
Now, Marilee, things were so out of hand yesterday, even the Speaker had to apologize after making a comment.
Wow, that is unusual. Okay, Danny, now that this debacle is over, I think, can we expect cooler heads to prevail?
We'll see, Marilee. The legislature is scheduled to rise Thursday for the winter break, so maybe, just maybe, there will be more goodwill and holiday cheer on the floor.
Let's hope so. It is the holiday season. Thanks, Danny. Some 260 trees are slated to come down in the Shaughnessy Heights neighborhood as Manitoba Hydro continues its vegetation management blitz. The Crown Utility says the trees along Selkirk Avenue are too close to power lines. There have already been power outages due to contact between branches and lines. The work is expected to begin next week. A spokesperson says all of the trees are either on city or rail yard property. It's all part of a wider safety initiative which kicked off this summer.
Well, last year we spent about $13.5 million on vegetation management, and this year we're on track to more than double that at about $27 million. And we've done a lot of vegetation management outside the city, mechanical brush clearing, keeping vegetation away from large transmission lines. We're doing more and more in the city, keeping the vegetation, especially trees, away from distribution power lines.
A spokesperson for the City of Winnipeg says it tried working with Hydro to preserve the trees through pruning or replanting to no avail. The city intends to continue discussions with Hydro over compensation for the tree, something it is not entitled to. If you'd like to know more about Hydro's vegetation management strategy and where crews will be operating, you can find an interactive map by visiting hydro.mb.ca. Well, a lot of people have been swinging by city-run golf courses this year. According to a new report at City Hall, more than 124,000 rounds of golf were played in the 2025 season. That's a 34% increase over the last 5 years. Next year, city officials are recommending green fees increase by $1 a round at courses such as Kildonan Park, Windsor Park, and Harborview. They'd like green fees to increase by $2 a round at the Canoe Club. The report will be discussed at next Property and Development Committee. All right, let's bring Colleen Brady now and get a first look at your Skywatch forecast. I think maybe the extended season might have helped some of those extra rounds of golf get in, Colleen. None of that happening this weekend.
No, I have to talk to our producer. What a setup. How do I please the golfers tonight? Well, I can't, because you know what? It's just going to get colder, but all throughout the week we've been gradually easing into these cooler temperatures while the sky conditions have been fairly consistent. Well, both are going to change quite a bit in the coming days. Right now, though, a little bit of light snow popping up on the radar in southwestern Manitoba. I'll show you what system that's connected to here in Winnipeg and across much of the province tonight and into northwestern Ontario. A little bit cloudy. I'll show you how the weekend will play out and a look ahead into next week too, of course. Let's take a look right now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. In Winnipeg right now, it is -8 and cloudy with those light winds from the east-northeast at 9 kilometers an hour. The wind chill feels like -13. The pressure is falling and the humidity right now merely is 81%.
Thanks, Colleen. More than 1 in 10 people in Winnipeg are unable to get housing that fits their needs. It's just one of the key takeaways from the city's 2025 Housing Needs Assessment, which was released today. The report gives a number of reasons for this, including Winnipeg's population growing at twice the average rate over the past 3 years. Additionally, the city is steadily losing many of its older homes, especially those that are more affordable, through a combination of age, deterioration, vacancy, and fire. The city is holding a virtual information session Tuesday night on the findings, where you can learn more from the report's authors and ask questions. You can read the report for yourself and register for the information session by visiting winnipeg.ca. A church hoping to protect parishioners from crime by building a 9-foot fence with barbed wire pleaded with the City Hall committee today. The pastor and church members appealed a city decision against the fence. And as CTV's Jeff Keel shows you, while no barbed wire will be allowed, some of their prayers may have been answered.
A North End church is not getting their 9-foot fence with barbed wire, but they were offered a compromise to beef up security.
I think I'm satisfied.
The St. John Cantius Church on Burroughs Avenue was asking for a variance to put up a tall chain-link fence with barbed wire around most of their buildings and parking lot because of people trespassing, doing drugs on their property, as well as problems with vandalism and theft.
We are in desperate times. We need desperate measures.
City planners rejected the proposal.
The barbed wire, it has a fortress-like or a war zone type of appearance, which planning is definitely not supportive of.
So the church appealed that decision, and the pastor and church members pleaded their case to a city committee on Friday.
When the safety of this sacred place is compromised, our entire community feels it.
To protect our children, most especially, please grant us this appeal.
In the end, the appeal committee denied the use of any barbed wire, but did allow some higher fencing options.
I think we came up with a happy medium that we could help alleviate some of the issues.
The church can build a fence up to 9 feet on the side and up to 7 feet on the back, which faces Magnus Avenue. The front area, including a portion of the parking lot, can only go to the current standard of 4 feet.
We actually got like the 9 feet on the sides. That's a good win for us. And the 7 feet on Magnus, which is good because a lot of some of the problems do have to come from the Magnus side.
The final design, including what the fence is made of, will now be subject to a planning approval process at a future committee meeting. Jeff Keel, CTV News Winnipeg.
The federal government says more than 150,000 Manitobans are now covered under the Canadian Dental Plan.
Hi there. Hi. How are you doing today?
People with no access to dental insurance and with a family income of less than $90,000 qualify for coverage. Today, we've learned more than 85,000 Manitobans have received care through the program. For some, it's the first time they've seen a dentist in decades. Now, Ottawa is spending an extra $35 million over the next 3 years to enhance the program, $6 million of which is destined for the University of Manitoba's dental program.
Cost, geography, systemic barriers mean that many people sometimes suffer in silence, often turning to emergency rooms for issues that could be treated in a dental chair. This funding really helps change that.
Ottawa says the Canadian Dental Plan saves eligible Canadians an average of $800 a year on oral health care services. Manitoba's chief medical examiner is calling for inquests into the deaths of 6 people. It includes a probe into the death of an inmate during a 2023 prison riot. Pachinos was an inmate at Stony Mountain Institution on July 17, 2023, when a riot broke out in the yard. Roughly 50 people were involved and 7 were sent to hospital. Pachinos died at the scene, and Manitoba's chief medical examiner wants to know if anything could have been done to prevent it. The examiner also wants to know if anything could have been done to prevent the deaths of 5 other people. The inquests are looking at the circumstances surrounding the death of a woman in a Winnipeg psychiatric ward, an 18-year-old who was shot dead by police, and 3 drug-related deaths. The dates, times, and locations of the inquests will be released at a later date. It's Black Friday today, which means a lot of us will be hunting online for deals. And tonight, RCMP are reminding us to be on alert for scams. RCMP say online scams are often basic and straightforward, such as fake texts about your package delivery payment information needing to be verified. But some scams can be quite sophisticated. Officers warn some ads on social media will send you to fake websites which look legitimate, like legitimate retailers, and offer incredible deals. Even charities have been impersonated. RCMP say you should verify the seller's information before buying, use a payment with fraud protection such as credit cards, and do not click on ads that sound too good to be true. A free designated driver program kicks off tonight, aimed at getting you home safely this holiday season. Operation Red Nose has launched its 30th annual campaign to combat drinking and driving. The volunteer-run program provides you and your guests a ride home in your vehicle. The service is being offered in several regions throughout Manitoba, including Winnipeg, Steinbach, and Portage la Prairie. You can call the Red Nose hotline between 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. and expect a pickup within the hour. More information is available on rednosewinnipeg.ca.
Does that mean that there's a cancer spreading through the caucus? Absolutely not.
Pipeline politics, what the Prime Minister's deal with Alberta has cost him and the road he must navigate ahead.
We all know just how cold Manitoba winters can be. Imagine not having a winter coat, boots, a toque, or mitts, and stepping out into the cold. That's the reality for many kids. But you can change that. Give the gift of warmth. Donate to Coats for Kids.
Manitobans' debt load continues to inch upward. According to a new report by Equifax, Manitoba was carrying more than $18,600 in debt by the end of the third quarter. That's actually the lowest in the country, but also 3% higher than last year, the highest increase outside of Prince Edward Island. Delinquencies are also up 6% over the same time last year. Turning to the markets now, crude oil is down 10 cents. The Canadian dollar added nearly 0.3 of a cent. Gold jumped $52. The TSX gained 186 points. The Dow Jones rose 289 points, while the Nasdaq ended the day 151 points higher. Statistics Canada is reporting better than expected results for the economy last quarter. The agency says real gross domestic product was up 2.6% on an annualized basis. Exports edged up as imports fell sharply, strengthening the national trade balance. The positive results came after a 1.8% contraction in the second quarter when U.S. tariffs took full effect. Nearly 200 Red River Métis citizens and First Nations people are expected to receive training in the mining sector thanks to a new federal funding boost.
These projects will build on skills, will create jobs, and open doors to new opportunities across Manitoba. Thank you.
The announcement was made at the headquarters of the Manitoba Métis Federation, which is receiving $300,000. The money will be used to train 150 Métis citizens in the critical mineral sector. Mosakahikian Cree Nation, which is located nearly 500 kilometers northwest of Winnipeg, is also receiving money for industry training jobs creation.
They'll be doing a lot of land-based training, classroom and on the ground, maybe even in the ground, because we're going to be working with our proponents, Hudbay and others, to introduce them to the mining industry.
The MMF says training will start tomorrow in Winnipeg before branching to other areas in the province where mining activity is ongoing. The federal government also announced nearly $100,000 for Thompson Regional Airport Authority to begin testing new technology such as drones and automated vehicles. A pipeline agreement the Prime Minister struck with Alberta's Premier could be risky for Mark Carney. Stephen Guilbeault, a key cabinet minister, has already resigned. And as CTV's Judy Trin shows you, there could be more blowback.
For a project like that to come to reality, you'd have to make sure that there is social acceptancy, certainly if it's going to BC.
After 6 years in the Liberals' inner circle, Stephen Guilbeault quit as Minister of Culture, unable to stomach the Prime Minister's shift toward pipelines. Just hours after Mark Carney signed the Memorandum of Understanding with Alberta's Premier, Guilbeault resigned. He said several elements of the climate change action plan he worked on are about to be dismantled, including consumer carbon pricing, zero-emission vehicle standards, and the emissions cap on the oil and gas sectors.
I'll disagree with the characterization that we're rolling things back when we've actually committed to strengthening the industrial carbon price, strengthening methane regulations, extending the methane regulation.
Guilbeault will remain in caucus. Other Liberal MPs feel strongly about the environment. About 30 are part of a newly formed climate caucus.
He's dedicated his life to climate issues. And it's completely understandable that he would stand on that principle. Does that mean that there's a cancer spreading through the caucus? Absolutely not.
Guilbeault was also the Quebec lieutenant. Now Carney will have to find someone else to help him navigate the politics of La Belle Province.
Mark Carney is not a Quebecer. Mark Carney is not culturally, linguistically in the flow of Quebec. He relies on that Quebec lieutenant.
On social media, the Prime Minister thanks Stephen Guilbeault for his work in advancing sustainability. Mark Carney must now turn his attention to finding a new Minister of Canadian Culture. He could also use the vacancy for a cabinet shuffle. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Quebec's government has tabled legislation which would expand restrictions on religious practices in the province.
Because we think that when the state is neutral, Quebecers are free.
Bill 9 includes a ban on full face coverings for students and staff in public education settings. It would also prohibit prayer in public institutions like universities, as well as in public outdoor spaces. State-funded institutions like hospitals would be banned from offering menus based exclusively on a religious tradition like strictly kosher or halal options. The legislation builds on a 2019 secularism law banning public servants from wearing religious symbols at work. Airbus is warning of some flight disruptions. It's because thousands of its aircraft are getting a software update. American Airlines says more than 300 of its jets are affected. Airbus says the concern is intense solar radiation might corrupt data critical to flight controls. This follows an investigation prompted by an emergency landing in Florida back in October. U.S. President Donald Trump is vowing to permanently pause all immigration from third world countries after one of 2 West Virginia National Guards died after being shot by an Afghan national earlier this week. The victim who died was Specialist Sarah Beckstrom. The other soldier, Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf, remains in critical condition. Trump offered few details about the immigration pause, but said in a post on social media he plans to remove millions of migrants from the U.S. Officials say the 29-year-old suspect in the fatal shooting entered the U.S. in 2021 through a program which welcomed around 76,000 Afghan refugees. To Ukraine now, where that country's anti-corruption agency has confirmed it is searching the office of Vladimir Zelensky's right-hand man as a corruption scandal deepens. This ahead of expected new peace talks with the U.S. this weekend. ABC's Ian Pinnell has the latest.
Anti-corruption investigators have raided the home and offices of Andrei Yermak, the head of President Zelensky's office. Yermak is a hugely powerful, influential and divisive figure in Ukraine. He is, in effect, Zelensky's right-hand man. He's leading negotiations with the U.S. in peace talks as well. Ukraine, of course, has been consumed by this massive, sprawling corruption scandal in the energy sector that's implicated a former close business partner of Zelensky and seen the resignation of 2 government ministers. And the timing couldn't be worse because you have senior U.S. officials heading to Moscow and to Kyiv in the next few days, all part of a push by President Trump to try and get a deal to end the war soon. In an interview published Thursday, Yermak ruling out conceding any Ukrainian territory in talks, and in a hardline speech, Vladimir Putin overnight ruling out a ceasefire unless Ukrainian forces withdraw, saying it's pointless signing anything with Zelensky because he lacks legitimacy. All of this, of course, chaos leaves the chances of a rapid end to this war looking remote. Ian Pannell, ABC News in eastern Ukraine.
Authorities have launched a corruption inquiry, and 8 people are now facing charges following a fire at a high-rise apartment complex in Hong Kong. The death toll now stands at 128, with dozens more people still missing. The 7 men and 1 woman were arrested and were all involved in the work at the complex. Investigators are trying to determine whether the fire alarms were working and are checking the materials used in the renovations. Heavy rains have triggered landslides and floods in Sri Lanka. At least 56 people are dead and more than 20 others missing. Much of Southeast Asia has been battered by heavy rains in recent days. Hundreds of deaths have been reported across Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand. And a 4th person was charged today in connection with last month's robbery at the Louvre. Prosecutors in Paris say all 4 suspects involved in the robbery have been arrested and charged. The jewels, though, valued at more than $100 million, still haven't been recovered.
Save it 1, save it 2, save it 3.
We have curling, we have jewels, and we have a long-range forecast to tell you all about. Well, after all this talk of unseasonably mild temperatures for weeks and weeks and weeks, guess what? They're about to fall below normal, those temperatures. Check it out. -10 on Sunday, a mix of sun and cloud. -11 on Monday, a mix of sun and cloud. Snow's possible on Tuesday, although the models really don't agree on this just yet. But look at Wednesday, a high of just -16 degrees.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
Manitoba's Matt Dunstone has made it to the playoffs at the Canadian Olympic Curling Trials in Halifax.
Back 8. Final stone. Matt Dunstone already has a 2. Save it 1. Save it 2. Save it 3. Touch it. They got it.
Just like that. That 3-point shot in the 6th end was the one that helped seal the deal for the team from Winnipeg. Dunstone's rink went on to post a 9-5 win over Mike McEwen's team from Saskatchewan. Dunstone and company will now need to beat Alberta's Brad Jacobs in the best-of-3 playoff series to punch their ticket to the Olympics. The first game in that series got underway just a short time ago, and at last check, Alberta's Jacobs had a 3-2 lead after 3 ends. Game 2 goes tomorrow afternoon, and if needed, a Game 3 will happen on Sunday.
Everest. Jill Brothers calling line. Can you come off and kick it sideways like that? Oh, not enough.
Yeah, over on the women's side, it was a very tight game, but Halifax's Christina Black dropped the first game series this afternoon. 2-time reigning Canadian and world champ Rachel Homan of Ottawa held on to beat the Halifax rink by a 5-4 final. And the Winnipeg Jets are in action this hour, taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. The opening goal for the Jets midway through the second period to tie things up. And at last check, Carolina had regained the lead. It is now 4-1 apparently. The Jets are looking to get back in the win column after a 3-game skid, including a 4-3 loss to the Hurricanes just last week. This time, they're on Carolina's home turf. Winnipeg is currently 12-10 overall and 6-5-0 on the road. We will have your full results tonight at 11:30.
The Hockey Report, brought to you by Santa Lucia Pizza. Check out the game day special. CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Colleen Brady back now with your complete Skywatch forecast, and the weekend is going to be a bit cooler than we've been used to as of late.
That's the thing. We've been spoiled, really, for most of the month of November with these unseasonably mild temperatures, but over the course of this week, we've been gradually easing into colder air, which is really more in keeping with where we ought to be for this time of year. But as I mentioned, the long-range forecast we will be talking, before you know it, we already are, about temperatures dropping below normal for this time of year. But until then, tonight, we're not quite there yet. There's a little bit of light snow really all around our various regions, including out in the southwest. There's snow falling lightly in Thompson, over in Flin Flon. But as for this snow picking up just over the border here into Manitoba, it's on the northern edge of this. Much more substantial snow once again falling over the Dakotas, into Minnesota, and over the state of Iowa there. But further north into northwestern Ontario, it's falling so lightly, that snow in Sioux Lookout, Dryden, and Kenora. You can't even see it, but it shouldn't last for too much longer. But speaking of which, snow is quite possible tonight around Dauphin, Minnedosa, up into Swan River in this band across the Interlake. It should miss us here in Winnipeg, although we did get a little bit of snow earlier today. But in the north too, scattered light snow continuing tonight. It will end first in the northwest. If it hasn't already in your communities, it will before too long. As you see later on this evening, even 10 o'clock, it looks like a lot of that will be out of the way. Not that there's an awful lot falling, but look for that to come to an end. Overnight, we still have a little bit of that light snow picking up here in southern Manitoba, not so much on the other side of the border into Ontario. Tomorrow, though, cloudy across much of the province and east into Ontario. That big snowfall there continuing to stay for the most part on the other side of the international border. Saturday night into Sunday, though, that's when high pressure starts to build in, and we'll get a nice shot of Arctic air, and that will send those temperatures well below what we've been accustomed as to lately, and well below normal for this time of year all across the province. The trade-off, though, with that higher pressure is the sunshine for most regions, so that'll be nice to see again. So that's what the weekend looks like. It's a bit of a mixed bag. We're getting back to more normal values for this time of year, including tonight. Still above normal for an overnight low, but still minus double digits. Minus 10 overnight for Winnipeg. Light winds, a low chance of flurries, and really that low chance of flurries continues all throughout the day on Saturday. Minus 8 in the morning. Light northwest winds with a high in the afternoon of minus 6 degrees, the normal high for this time of year for the city. Up in the north tonight, we'll see a little bit of light snow falling in Churchill and Gillam, minus 16 and minus 14 respectively. Island Lake and Thompson, cloudy in your areas. Thompson down to minus 16. Now Gillam tomorrow, a few flurries. You'll see some flurries in Island Lake, but Churchill, your temperature is going to fall to minus 20 in the afternoon. In the northwest tonight, a little bit of light snow. If it hasn't ended already, it will before long in Lynn Lake, Flin Flon, and the Paw. Minus 13 in all of those communities. Flurries tomorrow for Lynn Lake, down into Norway House and Norway House Cree Nation. Those communities going to minus 11. In the southwest tonight, look for some light snow intermittently falling in Dauphin and Swan River. Overnight lows there, minus 13, minus 15 degrees. Brandon and Neepawa down to minus 12. Cloudy there, minus 7 for your daytime high for Saturday. Those clouds stick around. Winnipeg in the southeast, cloudy tonight with a chance of a little bit of light snow or flurries, and that will continue tomorrow. Winnipeg looking at a high of minus 6. Partly cloudy tonight after that snow stops falling in northwestern Ontario, as cold as minus 14, minus 15 there. And then tomorrow, a chance of a little bit of flurry activity in the morning. Otherwise, you'll see more sunshine in Dryden and Fort Francis. Kenora up to minus 7. How stunning is northern Manitoba, particularly Peace Sioux Falls? This is not too far from Thompson. That gorgeous shot was taken by Robbie. And you've heard of pancake ice. Well, it's not too far away from Winnipeg, up at Winnipeg Beach. That photo is from Pat. Send us your photos to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Colleen. CTV News Winnipeg is building another toy mountain, and we need your help. New unwrapped toys can be dropped off at Toy Mountain on Saturday, November 29th at Access Storage on Lawson Crescent from 1 to 4 p.m. You can also make a toy donation at all Scotia Bank, IKEA, Toys R Us locations, and at select Winnipeg Fire paramedic stations. And Toy Mountain returns to CF Polo Park on December 5th and 6th. CTV News Winnipeg and our friends from Virgin Radio and Bounce will be collecting toy donations on the second floor overlooking Center Court. You can find a full list of all 2025 Toy Mountain events and drop-off locations on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. Nearly 1 in 5 Canadians do not have a family doctor, and a new study suggests that's especially problematic when it comes to getting screened for cancer. We will explain next in Medical Watch. We've reached the end of November and the end of this year's Hero in You campaign. Thanks to you, more than 1,200 blood donations were made in November, some by first-time donors. Due to an aging and growing population, Canada needs 450 new donors every day this winter to keep up with the demand for blood. So, as we wrap up this year's Hero in You campaign, a reminder, while one donor is great, if you bring a friend, your donation doubles.
There's not much high school students enjoy more than meeting up with friends.
This looks so good.
Except maybe burgers and fries. Socializing over good food is how these grade 11 and 12 students at Collège Louis Riel like to spend quality time with each other.
Is anyone taking maths, like calcul? How's that?
Not only does it offer a chance for them to connect and engage, but also share some laughs. Like many Gen Z, these students prioritize experiences above material possessions, which is why lunch is just part of what's planned.
To be honest, I don't even know my blood type.
Well, you'll figure it out today.
You're gonna find out.
This group of friends is about to donate blood for the first time, and doing it together is making all the difference.
Oh, that's so cute. When you have someone there with you, support group, you can laugh. It really becomes a nice social experience, and everyone is just like having fun together.
Definitely do it with your friend. I feel like the best way to make yourself less nervous, having a good time, make memories and strengthening bonds together. Sure, I feel like that's the best way to do it.
Like that's like your blood, like that's like inside your body, and it's like crazy.
Donating blood together is not only memorable, but a bit more meaningful and more likely to stick and become a habit, which is why Canadian Blood Services has launched the Fall Get Together campaign, a challenge to give as a group, whether it be friends, family, colleagues, or whoever your crew is.
Knowing that my blood is going to be used to help someone out, right? Someone that really needs my blood, and that makes me feel so good inside.
Do it with your friends, find a day where you guys are all free and get a snack, go to brunch, and then go do it. It's just something fun.
And a huge thank you tonight to each and every one of you who helped us out this month and donated blood as part of our Hero in You campaign. You really are heroes. I started this campaign in memory of my mom, who relied on weekly blood transfusions as she battled a rare blood cancer. And when my mother did pass away, blood donations gave my family 5 extra years with her time we are so grateful to have had. So please continue to book those appointments to donate blood throughout the year and be a hero for families just like mine who are depending on you. You can book an appointment online at blood.ca or on the Give Blood app. You can also make an appointment over the phone by calling 1-888-2DONATE. A new survey suggests Canadians are having the same difficulty accessing the healthcare system now as they did 3 years ago. The nationwide poll by Angus Reid found nearly 60% of people reported facing some challenges or chronic difficulty getting healthcare services. Only 1 in 6 said they could comfortably access the healthcare system when they needed it, and the rest said they hadn't needed access. Those numbers are virtually unchanged from 2022. The survey also found 1 in 5 Canadians do not have a family doctor, particularly troubling in the context of cancer care, as those without a family doctor were much more likely to say they had difficulty getting screened for cancer. The poll of more than 2,000 Canadians was conducted online between January 10th and 17th. Children who move more only get fitter, according to new research. They also get happier. Researchers at Northeastern University in Boston looked into the rise in obesity rates and mental health disorders. They found that especially in children between the ages of 8 and 11 who met the recommended level of physical activity not only had less belly and back fat, they also reported fewer symptoms of anxiety and depression. These findings suggest supporting children so they can stay active may be an effective tool to ensure both their physical and mental well-being. Researchers at the University of BC gave a live demonstration of a one-of-a-kind body swap robot, offering new insight into how the brain keeps us upright.
The idea is not to think that balance deficits and falls are one single cause. There's a number of causes, and then we need to be able to address them. And this device becomes, a central tool to allow us to make advances.
The robot can subtly change how a body feels, making it seem heavier, lighter, or slightly delayed. That helps researchers study how the brain responds to shifts in balance. The goal is to better understand and reduce the risks of falling, especially for older adults.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manukin Koster Denture Clinic.
Everybody needs a lot of joy and laughter and happiness right now, and this is very much what this show provides.
A holiday classic brimming with song and dance, where you can catch the stage adaptation of Elf next in Spotlight.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Hotel California, the original Eagles tribute.
Buddy the Elf is coming to Winnipeg in a sea of song.
There are key moments from the movie that are kind of verbatim in there, but of course, like any film that's adapted for the musical stage, it is expanded and songs are put in.
Elf the Musical is on now until December 28th at the Royal Manitoba Theatre Centre. The production follows Buddy, played by Ryan Brown, who realizes he's not an elf and is actually a human. He then sets off to New York in search of his real father.
Everybody needs a lot of joy and laughter and happiness right now, and this is very much what this show provides.
The production also includes a 9-person orchestra that is doing all the music live. Tickets are available on Royal MTC's website. Well, they learned to play on a broken 5-string guitar. From those humble beginnings, Errol Ranville and his brothers would go on to create a Juno Award-winning group called the Seaweed Band. The Seaweed Band is recognized around the world, performing as far away as China. And the Indigenous band has become legendary within the Canadian music scene, winning Juno and Country Music Awards. Now, founder Errol Ranville has written a book about the band's journey. It's called The Seaweed Band Story, Magic in the Music.
It's more than a book. The band is more than a band. It's more than music. It has become, well, Run as One. Phil Fontaine, when he was still the national chief, called Run as One the national Indigenous anthem, and was used for all the big, huge gatherings that happened all the years since it was released. So I'm very, very proud of that.
The Seaweed Band Story, Magic in the Music, is available in stores and online. Ottawa is giving an early Christmas present to the Manitoba Theatre for Young People. MTYP is getting $250,000 for its capital campaign. The $250,000 is just the latest investment in the Manitoba Theatre for Young People. In January, the federal government pledged an additional $750,000. The money will be used to help provide an array of upgrades to the facility, including new lighting, energy efficiency, and other technical systems. In total, Ottawa has committed more than $2 million to the capital campaign. Canadian rocker Bryan Adams is releasing a new album in time for the holidays, and it features some other Canadian artists, including Saskatoon's The Sheepdogs. The Sheepdogs join Adams on California Christmas. It's the first single off a great big holiday jam. The album also includes Alessia Cara, Alan Doyle, and the Bare Naked Ladies. California Christmas was recorded in Vancouver and is available now. The album is being released December 8th. Kick off the weekend with some great entertainment starting at 7 with the CTV movie Star Wars: A New Hope. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
The CTV Primetime lineup is brought to you by Strictly Amish, exclusively in Arborg, Manitoba. Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
Minus 8 degrees in Winnipeg, but just wait. When you factor in the wind chill, it feels more like minus 13, even though those winds are light as they are out of the east-northeast at 9 kilometers an hour. Minus 7 was the highest temperature today. Minus 8 was the lowest, so we pretty much held steady. 1901, the record for this day when the temperature reached 8.3 degrees in Winnipeg. Low chance of flurries tonight and on Saturday. Minus 10 overnight, minus 6 tomorrow. Minus 10 on Sunday, merrily. Even colder Monday. We could see snow on Tuesday with a high of minus 9, then minus 16 on Wednesday. Yikes.
Thanks, Colleen. Philadelphia 76ers guard Tyrese Maxey probably shouldn't quit his day job.
Okay.
It was going good until that point. He was running 2 dogs through the agility course at the National Dog Show in Philadelphia. First, he was with the 8-year-old border collie, Howie, who, as you saw, paused midway through the course for a game of tug and war. Spike, though, this 2-year-old border collie, Papillon, also tried to... Yeah, look at him go.
Wow, he's fast.
Holy smokes. Is he going to play tug and war, too? He almost had him to the end.
Quick turn.
Yeah, he's going to stick to his day job and not be a dog handler, but pretty impressive nonetheless. Dogs.
Fun to, yeah. Beautiful boys, though.
All right. That does it for us tonight. Have a great week.